All right, welcome. We back again, once again, time and time again, my friends. And what? You thought I was gonna miss? I ain't missing. I don't miss. We here. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go ahead and drop your boy a thumbs up for the consistency. I'm here every day I say I'm going to be here, and the time I'm going to be here as well. So we've been doing this for about 2 months now, and I think I got a pretty good track record. But what we do over here on these live streams is just go over some of the majors pairs, or unless you all have some questions about a few different pairs that we don't go over, don't cover, we'll hit on those. But we're just basically looking for the direction over the next couple days, next few days, just to give you a sense of direction and what way the market will be heading. If you do like that, go ahead and subscribe. That's what we do over here. It's all things trading we talk about on this channel. Make sure you are subscribed with the post notifications turned on. That way when I do a live stream like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in between 3 p.m. and 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you will get notified. That way you can tap into the chat, go ahead and just kick it with your boy for roughly about 30 minutes, 15 to 30 minutes. Nothing too crazy unless you all want it more. But other than that, we really just be cooling. I really just be cooling over here, man. So let's go ahead and get it started. We always start off with XAU USD on the monthly time frame, and as you can see on the monthly, we are exploding to the upside, so more continuation could be expected. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that I've been talking about a lot of the things over and 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 over. We have a nice and easy pattern here. We have a move to the downside, move back up, move back down, and then we've exploded to the upside. And we have a pattern here that completes 80 to 90% of the time because we are in market structure. So you expect a retest of the neckline to now act as support since this is a bullish setup, and then price to continue to the upside just because we are in the most common pattern in the market, which is a simple impulse retracement, retesting previous structure, and then continuing the trend, in this case for a higher high. We are getting exactly that on the weekly, pushing to the upside. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that today, as this day is coming to a close in about 1 hour, this trading day, you can see we've identified this level here in past streams that we want to see the market break above before we start to look for buy opportunities. But now that this candle is starting to break above, more than likely going to close as is above the area, break and close above, excuse me, we can expect more continuation to the upside to at least come retest these highs. If not, go ahead and retest the monthly structure that we have up in this area. So more continuation to the upside could be expected. XAG USD moving right along. Correlated pair, once again, a lot of these pairs are correlated. Almost all of them are correlated. We are talking about the US dollar in most situations, so they will either be positively or negatively correlated to one another. They'll either be moving the same way or in opposite directions, showing some of the same structure levels being broken and retested and continuation in that direction. So on the monthly time frame of XAG USD, we are exploding to the upside, breaking above several levels of structure. On the weekly, we can expect more continuation to the upside as the market is now continuing the trend. Once again, we have this pattern here that completes 80 to 90% of the time. And you can see here that once we reached this level, we came back and retested the neckline of the overall W formation, and that puts us in trend for trend continuation to the upside, which is exactly what we're seeing. Now, if we look at the daily time frame, you can see we identified this level a while ago, really long time ago, maybe a few weeks, a week, last week sometime, where we wanted to see the market come back into this area. Not until we broke and closed above this area did we want to see the continuation to the upside. Now we are getting that with an explosive candle on the daily time frame. We could expect more bullishness on XAG USD. On the monthly time frame of XBT USD, some of the same things. We're exploding, breaking above several levels of structure on the monthly. On the weekly, we have a nice and easy pattern here, impulse to the upside, Coming back for the retracement, retesting previous structure resistance, now acting as support on this side for trend continuation to the upside. We could expect more bullishness. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see that today we are breaking above a lot of this structure that we really wanted to see the market actually break and close above before looking for buy opportunities. We can just expect there to be more bullishness on this market as the days come. Now we can drop down to US oil. On US oil, we've been speaking about it. We've had previous structure right in this area. Coming over here, we want to see this structure being used as either support, which we did get a retest of this area as support. We exploded to the upside out of here not only once but twice, and we got rejected right around this level. So now we are pushing to the downside, looking to break and close below some structure. And if we do drop down to the weekly time frame, on the weekly time frame, you can see we're pushing to the downside. We've identified this area as previous structure support, broken to the downside. Now you want to see it act as resistance for more continuation to the downside, just simple market structure. And if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see there are several levels that we wanted to see the market actually break and close above before getting the retest to come retest some of these areas for more continuation to the downside if the market wants to provide that from a monthly time frame perspective. So we could see this market come into some of these levels and then continue to the downside, but as it is right now, we are exploding and closing above some levels of structure. We could expect some more bullishness on this market just for at least a few days to the market to come retest some previous structure once again. On Euro USD monthly time frame, we've been talking about it sitting right at previous structure support that should act as resistance. We should see the continuation to the downside, but we have a pretty aggressive candle up into the area. If we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we've had a little hesitation right in here, a little structure, which is this area of previous structure support, now turned resistance, where you want to see the market just continue trend to the downside from a monthly time frame perspective, but it may take a few weeks or days to develop, and that is simply just because the weekly candles take a little time to form and develop. And if we look at the daily time frame of Euro USD, what we can see is that we identified this level of resistance up in here, level of support down in here. You really want to see the market break out of either level before continuing to the upside, but we did identify this level here as a left shoulder head. You want to see it be used as the right shoulder over on this side. You do not want to see the market break and close below the left shoulder. None of the wicks, we did not get that, and from there we are starting to see the explosion to the upside, putting us in a nice trend continuation to see more continuation, bullish continuation to the upside from a daily time frame perspective. GBP USD on the monthly, sitting right at previous structure support that should act as resistance in order to see trend continuation just from a monthly time frame perspective. So be aware we are in a pretty important area on most pairs. Now, if we look at the weekly time frame, though, we are starting to get a very explosive move to the upside. We're coming back for some sort of retracement right around the areas that we like to see. So we identified that we have a major left shoulder here, a head here. You would like to see the market come back into this area, not break and close below this area for more continuation to the upside. And that's just from a weekly time frame. You can see we tried to dip down, but we then been rejected from this area kind of aggressively, especially on the weekly candle, weekly time frames. You can see that a little more in detail now that we drop down to the daily time frame, but previously we've identified that we want to see the market break above this level, come back, use this previous structure resistance, have it used as support over here for more trend continuation, and that is exactly what we are getting. So more continuation to the upside could be expected on GBP USD. AUD USD from the monthly time frame, we are sitting right at previous structure support that should act as resistance, so there could be more continuation to the downside just simply from a monthly time frame perspective. But we know we're coming into the month close that will be done today. With candles like these, you kind of want to wait for the retracement to start before looking for obvious moves from a monthly time frame perspective. So it could take a little while to develop for some things to happen. And if we do jump to the weekly time frame of AUD USD, you can see we came right into this area of previous structure support that should act as resistance and did act as resistance. Had the market pushed down to the downside, where we did find some level of support right in here as identified by the weekly candle wick. Now, if we do drop down to the daily time frame, because we are pushing out of this area, we have identified some levels that you'd like to see the market break above before safely feeling like more continuation to the upside could come, and that is these highs, and right around in these lows you want to kind of see a breakout before looking for obvious moves, possible moves on this market. But since we are starting to make moves to the upside, sitting right at the resistance that we've already identified, you would like to see this market go ahead and break out to the upside, come back for some sort of retracement, and then look for more continuation. USD CAD monthly time frame, been bullish for a while. Speak about it. We're breaking a structure to the upside, came back for the retracement. We retested previous structure resistance that should act as support, and is currently acting as support with the rejection wick on this monthly candle that is quite aggressive. But if we do drop down to the weekly time frame, what we can identify from the weekly and also spoke about previously is that we want to see the market break above some of this level, break and close above before looking for continuations to the upside. But if we do drop down to the daily time frame, you can see perfectly pointed out in the last stream that we wanted to see the market break above some levels of structure, come back for the retracement, retesting previous structure resistance in order to see continuation to the upside. That is exactly what we're getting as of right now. Once again, we do have an hour until this daily candle closes, which nothing to be worried about. It's just simple market structure. We want to see the retracement come in, and then the next impulse start to the upside if that's what it wants to do. Now we also have NZD USD, and if we look at it from a monthly time frame perspective, we are starting to break above some previous structure support that should act as resistance, but is currently getting disrespected to the upside. And if the candle go ahead and closes in about 50 minutes like it is currently, we could see more continuation to the upside. If we look at the weekly time frame, you can see that we have very aggressively just been moving up on this pair, almost just as easy as we move down on this pair as well. Then we had a W formation, broke above that level, came back, retested the neckline, and then we continued to the upside. So there could be some sort of retracement coming because we can't move in one direction forever, but we do have a lot of more room to go retest some of these highs, and that's just from a weekly time frame perspective. And if we look at the daily time frame, you can see perfectly is the most common pattern in the market. We have an impulse to the upside, breaking structure here, coming back to retest that previous structure that was broken as the opposite, so it was resistance over on this left side. Now it's acting as support, acted as support, and you just have the simple trend continuation to make a higher high on this market, which is exactly what happened. More continuation could come. This impulse may not be finished yet, but after this impulse does finish, a nice and easy retracement back down to some of these levels could provide a possible setup for buys in the future. And if we do slide over to USD CHF, on the monthly time frame of USD CHF, you're starting to see a very aggressive candle to the downside that's engulfing the last 3 bullish monthly candles that were made to the upside. So we are starting to get a lot of bearish pressure. And if we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that on this week we did try to push up to the upside just a little bit, and we've been rejected, pushing to the downside, sitting right at weekly resistance over here. Now acting as support, and now acting as support. What you would like to see is a break and close below this level for more continuation to the downside. But if we do drop down to the weekly, or excuse me, the daily time frame, you can see that we're failing to at least come retest this previous structure resistance, and we're starting to make moves to the downside. So this is a very, very important level of structure right in here that is acting as support. This would be a case where you want to see the market break and close below with some strong impulse candles, come back for some sort of weak retracement, and then look for more continuations to the downside on this market. Now we can hit USD JPY from the monthly time frame. We can't move in one direction forever. We've been moving up, exploding up to the upside very aggressively, making moves, creating and breaking structure. But on the monthly time frame, we've started the retracement, and this is a very aggressive candle, retracement candle, pushing to the downside, engulfing at least 2 candles that push the market to the upside as well. If we drop down to the weekly time frame to get a little more detail on what we're looking at the monthly time frame, you can see that on the weekly time frame we did have the move to the downside, and we found some support at previous structure resistance that should act as support. We broke to the upside just a little bit, came back, and we are starting to make moves to the downside, creating the most common pattern in the market, which is a simple impulse retracement and impulse to continue the trend. Now if we drop down to the daily time frame, on the daily we're hovering around these lows right in here, but we've still not broken out to the downside very aggressively and came back for some sort of retracement in this area. That would be obvious. You don't want to make your trading complicated. You want to do the simple things over and over and over, keeping it consistent, which is what we do over here. And if you would like to get the rules to the strategies that I offer, you can click the link in the description. Everything will be revealed on how I navigate the market on a daily basis using swing trading strategies and day trading strategies that made me consistent, a consistently profitable trader. Everything is accessible with that link in the description. But if we look at the daily time frame of USD JPY, what you would like to see is the market move to the downside with some conviction and come back for some sort of weak retracement for more continuation to the downside. We've previously identified that this level is support. We could see a bounce out of this area, so you don't want to sell into support. Is just as likely you don't want to buy into resistance. It's nice to go ahead and see the market show you the direction that it wants to go or is intended to go. But that's all we got on USD JPY, and then we can slide down to BTC USD from the monthly time frame perspective. On the monthly, we do have previous structure resistance that should act as support over in this area. It's not an exact point on the chart, it's not an exact line, but it is this whole area here, just as it is or was over on this left side. It's the same on the right side, so we have to give it some room to actually play out. If we do drop down to the weekly time frame, you can see that we are still bearish on the weekly. We've broken and closed below several levels of support, and now we're starting some sort of retracement. If the retracement ends in this area, that would be a possible setup for more continuation to the downside. But let's take a look at BTC USD on the daily time frame. And as you can see, we've previously identified a few levels. So we've had this level of support right in around in here that is acting as support, but we are bearish from the monthly and the weekly and technically the daily until we break out of some of these levels of resistance. We're still bearish, so bearish moves or sales are still valid on this market. But be wary that we did come in, find some support, have some sort of complex correction, try to break down the support, but failed to break the support. And then we're starting to make moves to the upside just right in this range. So we are kind of ranging, consolidating, moving sideways on Bitcoin, BTC, USD. But this is a good opportunity to go ahead and look for possible sell moves if they provide themselves. So not just jump in blindly hoping that the market sells from the point that you sell from, but you get some sort of move to the upside, and then the market shows you that it wants to go ahead and start making moves to the downside. Because just simply put, we have a nice and easy impulse to the downside, some sort of retracement back up in this area. All you want to see is the market continue the trend and make a move to the downside to create a lower low. So that is still valid and still possible with what we see on the chart here. Now, that sums up what we got going for these live streams. Like I told you, man, it's real nice and simple. If anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those. If you have any pairs you want me to look at, be more than happy to check those out. Look for possible directions on those as well. If I don't see too much, then I'm going to just assume everybody knows the same things that I know going forward and can easily identify the direction the market is headed to find themselves some nice and easy setups. But if nobody has anything they want me to check out, I'm going to slide on out of here and hopefully see you all in the next live stream or in the next video that I post on this channel. So make sure you're subscribed with the post notifications turned on and you're ready to rock out. You have a clear mind and you're ready to trade. But that's it, man. That's pretty much all we got going. That's pretty much all we do. If I don't see anything in the chat section or in the comment section, I just assume that you all are good. If not, please feel free to ask questions. I enjoy talking about trading and all things trading, so humor me, as they would say. I don't see too much going on, so I'm gonna slide up out of here. I hope everyone is having a profitable day on and off the charts. And until next time.